Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Green Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how are we doing this evening?
Doing great.
Did you get wet out there?
No, we went to.
You didn't?
No, we had to go to the gym. Thunderstorm.
Okay.
Lineup was in the area, so we had to go in, practice in the gym for a little while.
I wasn't sure if you went in before it started dropping because it came out of nowhere.
Well, the rule's 10 miles. If it's 10 and in, so I've got an alert on my phone. If it's within 10, hey, we go to the gym. So we got to the gym, and then about 2 minutes later, just boom, it opened up.
Do they make apps like that to control weather for like football games and sporting events?
I think so. I know WeatherBug will alert you if you set it to.
Gotcha.
So that's what I use. And so we'll check it. If it's within 10 miles, hey, we got to go to the gym.
We've had some crazy weather throughout this year so far. We're 4 weeks in. There are some schools that have had games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I know you were fortunate enough to get yours in on Friday. You were the only county team to actually play your game on your regularly scheduled night. I know Greenville's got postponed Thursday night. North Green, South Green, and Chokito all got theirs moved to Saturday and Monday. You were fortunate enough to get yours in at 7 o'clock in Blount County on Friday. Didn't go the way you wanted it to. It was a 21-18 loss to Eagleton in your first Region 1 2A game. Take us through that whole entire game and take us through the emotions.
You know, we played good enough to win that ball game. We had two big stops in the red zone that kept them from the end zone. We ran the ball well. We had an 18-play, 82-yard drive that took, I think it was over 8 minutes of game time off the clock. So, you know, we played good enough to win that ball game, but we shot ourselves in the foot with turnovers. We get the ball back with a chance when we're driving, and one of our fumbles was, you know, the kid he got popped and it just rolled out. You know, we've worked on ball security, and you know, it's just little thing, that fundamental stuff that's killing us. You know, the other fumble we had, I don't really know if it was a fumble or not.
Austin Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin. He goes to run a slant and hits him it goes through his hands, rolls down his legs. Ball's rolling, and official called it a fumble. I don't know if he ever really had control of it. We watched film, you can't really tell.
That was what I was going to ask too. Did you have a conversation with an official about that play?
I had a lot of conversations with officials Friday night.
Yes. I won't say anything about that. But
you know,
yes.
I had, you know, it wasn't a greatly officiated game, but, you know, we should not have put ourselves in a situation where officials can make a decision that can impact the game. If we go out and we handle business, we win that ball game. But we didn't handle business like we needed to, and you know that's just what happened. We ended up losing that. You know, I was proud of our fight and our effort. You know, we go a 2-minute drill, execute it beautifully, go down, score. You know, our kicker, we tried an onside kick, and you know he kicked it right to the kid, and kid made a good play, and they took the ball. And it's a ball game. So
credit to your defense too. They played another great game. Only allowed 21 points. Had two big stops in the red zone that could have ended up putting the game out of reach if you don't get those two stops in the red zone. What were those two plays, and talk about those two plays in general?
You know, we kind of brought the house on both of those and just said, man up, own your gap, blow it up. And you know, the first one, it's third and 1. They try a little quarterback sneak. Our nose guard takes the center, jacks him up. Quarterback runs right into him. The running back for Eagleton tried to push him, and he kind of ended up cutting the quarterback's legs out from under him, and so he falls, and it's 4th and 1. And then we get a big stop there. It's 4th and inches, and we controlled the line of scrimmage. Didn't let them get it. We take over. Second time, you know, they're marching to score, and you know, anytime you get a goal line stand, it's huge for you. And I felt like all night long our defense played about as good as they could have played. You know, Eagleton didn't have to drive the length of the field a lot. You know, I think their touchdowns was like, one of them was a 32-yard drive, one of them was a 50-yard drive, and I think the other one's like a 35 maybe. So they didn't have to drive the length of the field to score. When they had to drive the length of the field, we controlled it and, you know, controlled the clock, or not controlled the clock, but controlled the line of scrimmage a lot. And, it's a game that, looking back, we should have won. We shot ourselves in the foot with mistakes.
And that was one thing I was going to move into next, was the turnovers too, because any game where you lose the turnover battle is going to be hard to win.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing that I think got in the way of you being able to win that game, with them having 0 and you having 3. But besides that, what are some other things that you wanted to fix from that game? Because it didn't look like it was a game where you sputtered or where you started slow. You had a lot of great drives. It was just a lot of those turnovers got in the way.
Yeah. When we get down the red zone, we got to understand it's go time. We can't have mental mistakes in the red zone. There's when it's 3rd and 2, and we're trying to go on a different cadence and a different count, and we jump off sides. We false start. We had we come out timeout. We come out of the timeout. Hey guys, we're going on this count. Don't jump. And we had 2 guys jump. That's a mental mistake. That now instead of 3rd and 2. And you're looking at 2 plays to get 2 yards, you're 3rd and 7, and that's a little harder to execute and finish. And so that kind of hurt us. That was the first drive. That was the one turnover we had in the red zone. That's the big thing, is when we're close, we got to finish. And, our 2-point conversions, we got to understand, hey, we got to have these points. Mm-hmm. And, we were 0 for 3. We were 0 for 2 on 2-point conversions, and we missed a PAT. And so, that's 5 points off the board. If we get those, we win the ball game. And so, for us, I think it's big that we learn to execute better on the goal line. And so, defensively we played great. Offensively we didn't play bad. It was critical mistakes that cost us.
And I was going to move into the offense next and ask you a few questions about them, because it was a good game offensively where you did have those turnovers, but regardless of those turnovers, you still had a great output from a lot of your players too. You had 3 touchdowns total. The first one coming on, I believe, your first drive of the game, when Wyatt was able to punch it in on right at the corner of the end zone where the pylon was. And then your second one was on a 4th down play, actually, where instead of going for the yardage, you go towards the end zone, and Bax Britton ends up getting right across the goal line and scoring a touchdown. And then that 2-minute drill that played to perfection, you had Dawson Daniels punch it in with just about 2 minutes left to go in the ball game.
I thought Dawson probably played his best game yet. This past few weeks, Dawson's really bought in. He didn't have a great start to the season. And we were kind of sitting there scratching our heads and, the past couple of weeks, he's really settled in and started playing a lot better. I think he had his best complete game Friday night. There was several plays where Dawson from last year would have tucked it and ran and got what he could. And then this year, Dawson set his feet, found his read, and dumped it to the kid. I think Braden McCamey had a pretty good game. He's not the most fleet-footed athlete, but if you throw it his way, he's going to catch it. And so he had a couple big catches for us to get us a first down.
Big sack on defense, too. Forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Right before halftime.
Our defensive line this week, we kind of shuffled some guys around, try to get a little more speed up front, give those guys that kind of bigger, a little bigger than us, giving them some fits. And, our defensive line played well. 2 big sacks right before halftime was huge for us, because they were looking to score, and, you get sacked, back-to-back sacks, and it's 3rd, 4th, and forever. They don't really have a choice but to
let the clock run out.
Yeah. I didn't think Baxley Britton had a bad game at receiver. He had a
Besides that touchdown, he had a great drive where he had 2 huge first downs for. He made a great athletic catch right next to the sideline.
Yes. He kind of did a little self-tip drill. He kind of tipped it up and stayed focused and hauled it in and got his feet in. And so, we like I said, we played good enough to win. We just shot ourselves in the foot with critical mistakes. We give them short field on turnovers. Our kicking game wasn't great. That's something we're stressing and working on. And so when you're having to drive 70, 80 yards to score, and they're driving 30, you're behind the sticks all night. And so, we got to play the field position game better. That's part of it's my fault. Halftime, coming out, try to onside kick, get a cheap possession back. It's one of those things, you're either a hero or a dummy.
So I ended up the dummy. Those risks, yeah.
So sometimes you end up the dummy, sometimes you're the hero. It just depends on how it goes.
But when you're not the dummy, you're the hero.
Exactly.
You got to look at it both sides.
I ended up the dummy this time. But, you know, it's one of those things. We sit and watch film, and I'm like, our offensive line played well, defensive line played well. We played good enough to win. Critical mistakes kill us.
There's a turf field, too. Is that the only turf field that you're going to play on this year?
It is. You know, look at the rest of our schedule. Unicoi is grass. South Green's here.
Sullivan East here?
Yes, it's a home game. Cumberland Gap's here. Hampton's away. Happy Valley's away. So we're on grass the rest of the year.
Yep.
So, you know, Eagleton was some of the nicest facilities we've gotten to go to. We were kind of excited they go into a visitor's locker room, and it's like, man, they got lockers. They've got, you know, really nice facilities up there. They've put a lot of time and money into that place to make it look nice. And so, you know, the kids enjoyed getting to play on turf. You know, it's not something they get to experience every.
Might be the only time they experience it this year too, outside of maybe camps and 7-on-7s.
And so, you know, we went to Cherokee for 7-on-7. They have turf, but and went to Morristown East for 7-on-7. So they've played on turf a little bit, but you know they're comfortable on grass.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. It's like they were excited to go play somewhere that had really, really nice facilities.
I will say the press box is probably one of the nicer ones that I've been to. And it's funny because whenever I walked into the press box to take pictures of the rosters, Hemi was also looking for the door. We were both looking for the door at the same time. I was like, Hemi, you know where this is at? He's like, nope. I was like, well, we'll find it together. He didn't know that they had their own room on the second level. So he was just sitting on the first level where it's just one huge long table and one huge window across.
Oh.
Well, I go upstairs to check everything out. I'm like, you know, I'm going to be on the field all day. I might as well go up there and check it out. And I'm like, Hemi, you got your own room upstairs, man. Get up there. So they had their own room. They had like 3 windows and like 3 tables across. You could probably fit like 2 dozen people in there, and
Wow.
It's just 2 people the whole time. It was funny.
Yeah.
But they were nice facilities. I mean,
Yes.
air conditioned, closed doors, 2 levels,
We don't have
brand
that.
new. You walk in there and you're like, smells like it was built yesterday. It's crazy.
I ain't even got the funk in it yet.
Yeah, it's not. But moving forward now, you've got Unicoi again, another
Yes.
regional opponent.
They're not in our region anymore.
That is true. That is correct. I am so confused still with all the region movements and everything.
I'll keep you in mind.
Okay, please, because with you moving down and then Chuckyduck moving into a different conference and then North Green expanding, Greenville expanding too. It's a
Yeah.
lot to keep up with.
Yes.
But
It
travel to Unicoi, tough road game, tough atmosphere. We'll cover that in the second half, though. Got to get a few commercials on screen first, so we'll be right back in just a minute here on Grassroots Media.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Pizza Inn's new Right Way Buffet is open and ready for you and your family. Now with new garlic buttery crust and stuffed crust pizza, along with salads and desserts. It's the best part of your day. The all-day, everyday buffet. Only at Pizza Inn Greenville.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Green Buffalo football team. As always, I'm here with Buffalo's head coach, Evan Monroe. So you have a non-conference game with Unicoi County coming up this week. Travel back up there, I think Gentry Stadium.
Yep.
And it's a tough place to play.
It is.
Went there 2 years ago, had a very tough battle with them. Didn't come out on the winning side there. Came out on the winning side here last year in one of the most important games in West Green history. You go back on the road to play up there this time. It's non-conference now. The game doesn't mean as much But it'll be a good tune-up game coming off of 2 losses to give you a good competitive team to face before facing South Green in a region game.
Yeah.
Tell me what your mindset is going into Friday night.
We just got to come out and execute better. The things that have plagued us all year is turnovers. And so, this week we're putting a big emphasis on ball control, making sure we're squeezing that thing 2 hands in traffic. Things that we've preached all year, but just really spending a little extra time focusing on that this week. They're a big bunch up front. Got some skill guys that can go get it, and they're a good football team. And so, for us, I think it's a good challenge to go in and go try to compete with a pretty good football team.
What do you expect to see out of their offense, too? I know in the past few years they've been a really ground-heavy team. Yeah. Nehemiah Edwards running the ball through the gaps. So what do you expect to see when you travel up there?
They do like the ground game. They're a team kind of similar to us in the fact that they want to control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, march down the field, wear you out up front. Sometimes they'll give us a pistol look. They like us H-back. They'll start him on the left. They'll move him over to the right. They'll start him on the right. They'll move him over to the left. We've seen them come out and spread. When I say spread, it's like Tennessee spread, where they're plumb almost out to the sideline. Almost out to the sideline. They'll do double stack, 4 wide, and so it's just they throw a little bit of everything at you, and they'll find something that works, and they'll run it till you stop it. And then when you stop that, they'll adjust back and come to something else. So,
what are you going to see whenever you line your offense out on the field? What are they going to look at that their defense is going to run?
They keep 4 down linemen. We never saw them get into an odd front with 3 or 5 guys. They got one guy, big body right here between the center guard, and then I'll have another big body between guard and tackle on the other side. And just big bodies that are physical, and they're tough to move. And then they'll have defensive ends out beside them. And then depending on formation and how they line up, they'll either have sometimes they'll walk those outside linebackers up, and it'll be like a 6-2 look, 6 down linemen, 2 linebackers. Sometimes it's a 4-3 look where one backer's kind of shifted out and one's kind of walked out here. Sometimes it's a true split 4 where you have 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers. Sometimes they'll roll a safety down to the box. It just depends on how the formation you throw at them.
Yeah.
Granger threw Pigeon Forge threw a lot of oversets and heavy sets at them, unbalanced, and I think that'll be very similar to how they line up to us.
So it sounds like they like to load the box a lot too.
Yeah, they want to stop the run. On defense in high school football, if you can stop the run, you make a team one-dimensional. It's a good way to make a team spit and sputter. If they can't run the ball like they want to, you're going to get an offensive coordinator frustrated. Mm-hmm. And so, their main priority is stop the run, and that's why they've got. Those D tackles, they're big old boys. So, our line's got a tall task this week of getting them moved, but I think we're up for it.
This is back-to-back weeks you get to go to new press boxes too, because theirs is fairly new also. I don't know how old it is now.
I think 2 or 3 years.
I know Coach Hahn, I think, has been in the new press box before at Gentry Stadium. Have you not? I was up there 2 years ago the last time West Cream made it up there, and it's nice. Yeah. They added on to it.
I was spotting for Scotty last time we went up there, and it was a really nice press box.
Mm-hmm. Did you stand on top, or did you get to stand inside?
I think they stuck me on top.
On top?
I think they stuck me on the very top. Caught a lot of wind up there.
Yeah, you did.
Because
it's also tough to get up there. That's one thing I didn't know going into it.
It's easier than going to Johnson County's. You ever had to go to Johnson County's press box?
Yes, I went last year.
You better take your hiking stick with you. Because
I parked up there on the hill above the press box. That place is crazy.
I had to come down at the start of the second quarter last time I went to Johnson County just so I made it down there on time. It was, it was a hike.
Yeah, it is.
But, Unicoi's they've put some money into their facilities, and they're really nice, and, their field's top notch, and, they've got great community support there. So it'll be a great atmosphere for a fun Friday night game.
And as always, too, you've got 3 keys to success you need to carry out each week. Last question every interview, what are they this week?
we got to take care of the ball. I've preached it and preached it and preached it, and I'd love to win the turnover battle. Last week we lost it 2-0, and if we even break even, we give ourselves a chance to win the ball game. So really that's the big thing I'd like to see. Is I'd like to force some turnovers, give ourselves a short field, higher chance to score instead of having to drive 70, 80 yards to score. We're going 30, 40 because we got a good turnover to give ourselves a chance. So second point. So first point, win turnover battle, control the ball, don't have boneheaded mistakes. Second thing, I think our defense, if we can contain their ground game and hold their rushing attack to limit their rushing game and kind of make them uncomfortable in the run game, I think that'll be big for us to stop the run. And, the third thing is always score more points.
That's how you win football games, ladies and gents.
You gotta score more points to win. The third thing, we just go out and execute better. Keep our composure and just go win and just go execute like I know we can. And, we're going to give ourselves a pretty good shot to win. You look at statistics from a lot of football. If you win the turnover battle, if you can create more explosive plays than the other team, and you have less penalty yards than the other team, I think it's like 74% of the games are won when you do those three things. And so, if we do those three things and do them well, we'll win some football games. So
this pretty much sums it up. Have you looked at the weather Friday night?
Have not had a chance to look at it yet.
I've not had a chance to look at it either. I don't know what it's supposed to look like Friday night. We're hoping it's clear.
I hope so.
I want to get some regular weeks of football throughout the season now because we're 4 weeks in.
We've had one
We've
normal
had
week?
One normal week, and that was week
Week
one.
one.
Yep, and that was it. Week 2, you had a lot of rain. Week 3 was Labor Day weekend, and then week 4, you had a lot of rain again. Not really a lot of rain, too. It's a lot of lightning.
Yeah. And, you mentioned you had Thursday night football, Friday night, you had Saturday morning. Cherokee played Sunday at 3.
North Green played Monday. And now
isn't Morristown West
West is playing on Thursday this week.
Yep.
And they rescheduled their game with Greenville, I believe.
Next Tuesday?
Yes, I believe next Tuesday.
And then Greenville.
Yes.
And then don't they go and play Friday again?
Yes.
Whew.
North Green's got a weird week like that this week, too, where they play Cumberland Gap at home Monday night and then travel to play Hancock County Friday night. So they've got 2 games this week. Don't know the last time that's happened in their program's history.
Yeah.
Chucky Doak has played.
2 years ago.
What's that?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Played Chucky Doak on Monday. And turned around and played somebody on Friday.
Was that COVID?
I think so.
That's one thing I've brought a lot up this week too. Is this is really feeling like that COVID season a lot, just because you have so many cancellations, postponements.
Yes.
Except this year, it's not sickness; it's weather, which I wish we'd have some better weather.
Yes. I'm about tired of the rain.
Yes, as I say that now, I look out here and it's nothing but dark skies out here.
Yeah,
but-
it's about to come again, I think.
But I got to go cover a soccer game. Hopefully we get that in too. If not, would not be surprised one bit. Wouldn't be the first time this year you've had a game canceled.
Nope.
Anyways, Coach, thank you for joining me again.
No
Always
problem.
a pleasure sitting down here on the range. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.